That right there is the comedic genius of Laurel and Hardy. If you've not watched any of Laurel and Hardy's older movies, I say older, it's not like they've made new ones, but any of their classic movies, go back and watch them because they're brilliant. But now let's talk about Stan and Ollie.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Starring amongst others, Steve Coogan, John C. Reilly, Shirley Henderson, Nina Arianda and Annie Houston, directed by John S. Baird off of a screenplay by Jeff Pope. This is my review for Stan and Ollie. Stan and Ollie is the story of Stan and Ollie, of Laurel and Hardy, the comedic geniuses of years gone by, and how good they were and how amazing and funny they were. But this movie more takes a look at their later life. It's their last years together, really, performing as a duo. It's the final stretch, the final tour, and that's what this story is interested in telling. And while I would like to have seen more from their heyday, from when they were massive, it feels more fitting to have the story take place here because this is a more interesting story. This is a story about two people trying their best to recapture something that just isn't really quite there in the public eye anymore. They're still funny, they're still great, but the years have gone by, other talents have come along, and they find themselves fallen by the wayside a little bit, and that's where we find them in this film. So first of all, credit where it's due to Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly, because Laurel and Hardy, they're such iconic figures, they're such iconic characters, if you will, that it has to be somebody really, really good coming in to play them. And I don't think they could have got better than these two, because not only do they look the part, but they act the part so well. So well. They are fully believable as Laurel and Hardy, the pair of them. I can't pick between the two of them to think who's the better one. Each of them, they seem to understand the nuances of the characters, what makes them tick, and sort of how they act to the smallest of situations. They've done their research, essentially, is what I'm saying. At least it feels like they have. Steve Coogan's got that head scratch thing that Laurel did, down to a T. Like, he's absolutely nailed it. And speaking of Steve Coogan, new Alan Partridge starts next month. Very, very excited. But yeah, him, John C. Reilly, the pair of them, amazing. And they had to be, because they're really the two big names of the movie. They're the characters that are in pretty much every single scene of this film. So it was important that these two could pull it off. And 100% they pulled it off. It's one of the best sort of pairings, I think, for sort of recreating actual people that I've seen in quite some time. Casting just spot on. The writing, the directing as well, also really, really good. As I say, I like that this didn't take the easy way around things with how they were going to go about telling the story. It didn't focus on, even though I would like to have seen more of it, it didn't focus on just them becoming big. The typical story that we all know from these kind of things, where people try to be big, they make it big, they achieve their dreams. This is taking place after said dreams have been achieved, and it's them in their twilight years. It's them on the come down, and it's fascinating to learn more things about these two people. I don't know how much of it is accurate. I'm kind of a bit skeptical after Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know how much of this played out like we saw on the screen, but it feels like it did. It doesn't feel like anything's been forced, anything's been put into a place just for effect. It just feels like a natural story. And I really enjoyed seeing that these two, they were close, but they had problems, they had issues. There was a years-long betrayal that Laurel felt that Hardy had committed against him by acting with somebody else in a film. There was a struggle between the two of them where it almost seemed like they wanted to go in the same direction, but they had very different ways of getting there. So there was a constant pull, sort of pulling these two people apart when they're at their best, when they're together. There's some harsh words said. There's some very upsetting moments, actually. There's times where I found myself genuinely feeling quite affected by what I was watching, and even when it looks like the friendship might not last, there's just little moments between the two of them where you see that this is a real and genuine friendship. And aside from the casting, I think writing that friendship as a realistic one, as a believable one, with flaws and with faults on both sides, I think was the smartest thing this film could have done. It doesn't pander to the audience, it doesn't talk down to them, it just presents this story, and we're made to kind of formulate our own opinions on it. Who's right, who's wrong? It flicks between the two of them for most of the film. And I want to mention the runtime as well, because this is only 97 minutes long, and I kind of commend that a little bit, because it doesn't feel like it drags. If this had gone for the normal kind of period drama and tried to be 2+ hours, this really would have become a slog. But because it's not, it's a very quick film. Like, things move from point to point, and there's only the odd occasion every now and then where things do feel like they're slowing down a little bit too much, but thankfully it's really not that often. This is a film that I was happy to spend time with these people. I was happy to learn more about two comic people that I've respected for many, many, many years. There's other characters in this one as well. Their tour manager is an interesting sort. There's a great dynamic between him and Laurel's wife. The two of them have a great little sparring, and both wives actually are very, very good in this one. They don't have much to do in their own right. They don't have their own stories to tell quite as much as perhaps they could have done. But then this movie is called Stan and Ollie. If it tried to divert attention, I think, other ways, it would have become a bit of a problem. So I like that we got them there and we got to get to know them. But it would have been nice to just learn a little bit more about who these two people were. But on the whole, Stan and Ollie is a movie that I really, really enjoyed. It's one that I've only just got to see. I should have seen this last month, but two opportunities. I had to go and watch this film late last year, and I wasn't able to do it, which sucked. But I've finally seen it now. I'm glad I did. Very, very good film. I'm going to give Stan and Ollie an 8 out of 10. Have you seen Stan and Ollie yet? If so, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And this is my first review for 2019, so we are officially up and running now, which is good because there's a ton of movies coming out over the next couple of weeks, and I need to try and review them all, because I can't not review something I see. That's just my curse. Do hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of them. Let me know your favourite Laurel and Hardy movie as well, your favourite moment between the two of them, the best comedic moment you think you've seen from those guys. Let me know that in the comments below. Let's talk about the actual people this film is based on. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at Joe Julians, and say look out for more reviews coming soon, including The Upside, which I'm about to film straight after this actually, so I'll be wearing exactly the same clothes. But later in the week is also Glass, and I'm losing track. I've got about 8 films booked in, so there's a lot coming out. Looking forward to reviewing them all. Thank you very much for watching this review though, and I will see you on the next video.